Hi. I'll have a juice. Yeah.
What would you like to drink today? A mix?
Okay.
Pineapple, banana, and orange.
Sounds good.
Hope you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, you too, man. And have a good day.
That's a nice fruit juice. Welcome back to the channel. It's been almost 6 months that I left Europe with my wife, my 2 dogs, and my baby boy. And I thought it would be a great time to give you an update on what's going on. Because as you may have noticed, we haven't spent a single day in El Salvador yet. In fact, we've been in Mexico all this time. So I thought I'd give you a rundown of our experience here, why we went here, what we loved, the challenges we faced the last 6 months. Now we're extremely excited to go to El Salvador in about a week. So if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, because the updates on our El Salvadoran adventure are going to roll in quickly. I'm gonna make a lot more videos than I'm doing right now. So absolutely follow along, and I would love to connect with you. Leave a message below the video, comment like what do you want to know, what do you want to see, if you have any questions about Mexico or Puerto Escondido or our Salvadoran adventure that's coming up. So back in the last winter, when we were still in Europe, there were still a lot of health restrictions, and we didn't feel good in Europe. We knew that we had to leave as soon as possible. There were even airline CEOs saying that maybe people that were untreated should not be allowed to board flights. So yeah, we didn't like the prospect of not being able to leave. So we just wanted to leave as soon as possible, and we were ready to just go out and go to a place without knowing where we would end up. So it didn't have to be perfect, but within only a short amount of time, we had multiple signs pointing in the direction of Puerto Escondido in Mexico, which is this surfer destination, small fishing town on the Pacific. My wife had a friend that pointed her to Puerto Escondido, and within the same day, in a Facebook group talking about El Salvador, there was someone else that said, hey, a friend of mine is in Puerto Escondido and it's a pretty nice place. And also someone on Twitter messaged me and said like, hey, I'm in Puerto Escondido, I'm building a house here. You should definitely check this place out because it's a pretty good place to live for a while. Those were some hints we got. And as we're traveling with 2 dogs, you need to take into account the practical side of things of traveling with dogs. So we would go through Mexico anyway on our way to El Salvador. So it didn't bother us to spend some more time in Mexico, because you're allowed to spend 6 months here on a tourist visa. We could check this place out before going to El Salvador. Another important thing is that Mexico remained open during all of the COVID crisis. So the president resisted all of the pressure to close down the country and impose strong restrictions, which we liked. So that gave us a safe feeling. And we also didn't mind going with our gut feeling, just following the signs and going somewhere without knowing exactly where we would end up. And it didn't have to be perfect, you know, it's just about the experience and just going out there and learning on the go. So trust your instinct. If you get signs like these, you just have to go and follow them. Now that you know exactly why we came to Puerto Escondido, let me tell you the things we loved when we spent time here. First of all, this is a small city, very small. We previously lived in Paris, and after that in extremely rural, remote areas. And so it was a pretty nice change for us to be able to walk all across the city, and to have everything accessible by foot, or if it's really on the other side of town, just take a very cheap taxi, and we just love that. Besides that, the weather has been absolutely perfect. We arrived at the end of the dry season, and we expected the rainy season to be pretty wet, but it was actually much drier than we thought. So it exceeded our expectations with regards to the weather. It's been extremely good, like 30 degrees plus Celsius every single day and almost no rain. It's very, very consistent. And another thing we absolutely loved in Puerto Escondido is the quality of the produce. It's just so tasty. You've got farmers coming from the mountains to deliver their fresh produce on the market. You can have these incredible fruit juices just on the street everywhere. I absolutely love that compared to Europe, for instance. We were also pleasantly surprised to find out that when you come here as an expat to Mexico, you're treated equally. As long as you speak a little bit of Spanish and you're willing to try and make mistakes, people are really nice to you. They treat you equally. There's no different prices for the gringos. So yeah, it just feels good. You know, people are used to seeing foreigners and expats living here. It doesn't cause any friction so far as what I've seen. Then another thing, we have not been concerned with any violence or safety problems here. Sure, you see a lot of guns, you have a lot of police patrols, they have huge guns, which we're not used to in Europe. But as soon as you get used to that, and that goes really quickly, they don't bother you, you don't bother them. We haven't felt unsafe, and a lot of people hesitate to bring their really young children, perhaps even a baby, and we actually felt the opposite. It was such a blessing to come here as a family and to bring such a young child, because you're very open to the world around you. People are always coming to you to connect with your child or with you as parents, and it just makes it very, very easy to feel at home and comfortable. Another great thing about Puerto Escondido is that it's extremely family friendly. There's a very vibrant expat community here, easy to connect with. There's a WhatsApp group with, I think, already a couple hundred people in there. They're organizing all sorts of activities. There's a school. So yes, it's very easy to come here as a foreigner and meet people and have a normal family life. So that's extremely positive. And the last thing we absolutely loved about Puerto Escondido and Mexico in general is the hustling and entrepreneurial mindset that people have here. You have people selling on the streets, offering all kinds of services, and of course the standard of living is lower, so people have to work quite hard to make a small living, but they seem to be very happy with what they make, even if it's modest. You can still find yourself on the beach, spending time with very, very normal people that don't make a lot of money, but they can still afford to be there and have great enjoyment out of their life. So we love the entrepreneurial mindset and the fact that you have a lot of freedom and little government intervention as to what you can do, how you can do it, and all those sorts of things. All right, so let's discuss some of the biggest challenges we faced while we were here in Puerto Escondido. First of all, you have a culture shock when you arrive here from the West. Standard of living is lower. It's a lot more messy here. Quality of the products is much lower. You can find people on the street that don't seem to be very healthy, and they have a wound or something that needs to be treated, but they're alcoholic and they don't get it treated. So yeah, there's a shock factor there. Another challenge is the setup cost when you arrive in a new place. Of course, you need to travel here, you need to find accommodation, you need to get those things sorted. And if you didn't bring a lot of stuff, you need to get them replaced. So that may be another barrier. You definitely should not expect the prices here to be as low as some parts of Asia. It's more expensive, and while we were here, the euro actually lost 20% of its purchasing power with regards to the dollar or the Mexican peso. So that was also not very comfortable. So I definitely recommend everyone to get on a dollar or Bitcoin standard. Another challenge of coming here, but that goes to any place you go for the first time, of course, is you don't know anyone. And so you need to meet new people, make friends, make connections, and it depends on your character and your attitude, how easy that's gonna be for you. It definitely helps to be more easygoing and outgoing, and it definitely helps to have a family, to have dogs, or to have a baby. Another challenge we had was the fact that we were taking care of our son just with the two of us, my wife and I, and that was our own choice. If we would have spent much longer here, we would have invested in finding a nanny and having a good relationship with her. Taking care of your child with the two of you, it can be pretty intense. So I have a lot of respect for people that do it on their own. It's going to be much tougher. One of the biggest challenges while we were here was, of course, to miss family and friends back in Europe. You miss important milestones like birthdays, anniversaries, special occasions, when someone gets sick or diseases. Those things are hard if you're really not able to make it to the other side of the world within a short amount of time. So yes, it really depends on your situation, but it's always going to be one of the toughest things, in my opinion. Something that I didn't expect while I was coming here was natural disasters. It's really normal here in Puerto Escondido to have earthquakes. At 2 occasions I did feel an earthquake, not a big one, just really light. And we barely got hit by a hurricane which went through the town just next to Puerto Escondido. So that was a bit scary. We did stock up and stay inside with candles just in case, but luckily we were spared. So to conclude, we're absolutely very grateful that we were able to spend almost half a year in Mexico and be welcomed as guests in this country. We made a lot of nice friends, we met great people here, and we would love to visit Puerto Escondido again in the future to come see our friends and to see how the place is evolving here. It's very active. A lot of people are coming here from the United States, from Europe, from Canada. They're building houses, they're building a new life, they're getting their kids enrolled in school. So this will probably remain booming in the coming years. So I'd love to see how this evolves. Now we're extremely excited to go to El Salvador in about a week. So if you like this video, it was useful to you, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, because the updates on our El Salvadoran adventure are going to roll in quickly. I'm gonna make a lot more videos than I'm doing right now. All right, take care everyone. I'm gonna have a last sip of this fresh juice and I'll catch you very soon.